Thank you. Yeah, I have no slides because I just decided spontaneously in the morning that I want to talk. And why I decided to talk is when I just heard the talk from Nick in the morning, I remembered a lot of things I've been through in my career as CTO in a startup. I don't know how many of you work in a startup here right now. Okay, that's good. Then the audience maybe knows some of the stories I want to tell. And as CTO in a startup, you go through a lot of pain, especially in terms of delivering a good product. And I wanted to talk about this because I think over the last years I learned a lot, and maybe I can help you to share some thoughts and to help you to avoid some problems. So therefore, I wanted to talk about it. At ClaimSource, the company where we work, what we do is we want to digitalize the world of insurer claims, which is a super complex world. And we started to do it 1.5 years ago. The company was founded by 2 founders, which have no idea what a product is, which have no idea what technology is, but they had a great idea how to help the insurance world. And then they found some outsourcing developers and said, hey, come on, let's do this. Even investors invested in the company. Everything was good until the moment they realized, oh, outsourcing to an IT team, which has no idea what we really want to build, is not really helpful. So good luck. We came together. They hired me. I had a great team with me, developers I already worked since years with. And we have been super excited. Wow, new company, Greenfield. We all know how cool Greenfield is. And we had all the good resolutions for our new year in front of us. We wanted to do DDD, we wanted to do BDD, and we also want to do everything infrastructure as code and serverless. The whole world was open to us. I think you know all these concepts. And then the first thing is, okay, there's already this MVP which was created by the other company running. We already saw, okay, it's not really well constructed. The business was running. The business is that claims from policyholders come in. They have to be handled by a lot of external experts. And the very first thing we recognize is, okay, if the system runs longer than 100 claims, then we will really have a problem. It will slow down to death. So we have to do something about it. So this was the beginning of our dreams crushed because all the things we wanted to do, somehow we have to skip. Some we still could do because they have been easy to implement, like clean code, infrastructures code, going serverless. But the important aspect, DDD, understanding our domain, which we really had in mind, was not so easy anymore. Even if the domain experts, the real people which will use our software, have been close to us, but even they have been under pressure. So there was no possibility to exchange with them. So we said, okay, the only way to bring this system live within 2 months, we have to do rapid prototyping and exchange with the experts as much as we can and learn what we are really building here. We have no other way. So this was a decision we made. We used the framework which is called Flutter. I don't know if you know it. We can just recommend it for fast prototyping. It's extremely cool to deliver mobile applications. And then we prototyped our MVP. We delivered on time. It also worked in a way as expected, and we also learned a lot about our domain. But as you all know, when you deliver a product for the first time to the customers, it's not as you expect. And of course, there are problems. And of course, also we had our problems to go through because we had really no time to really confront the real users before the release. So everything was kind of fragile, but still we said, okay, there are some problems to solve. Let them solve. We will do it. And then we also said, okay, now we fixed all the most important issues. The business runs, a lot of claims go through the system. The company makes already money. The investors have been happy. So now the shiny world will come. We created new services, and then we said, okay, now let's make it in a better way. So what we really like, also in combination with DDD, is a service-oriented architecture. So we started to deliver and plan our services on a vertical way, so that services own everything from the persistence layer up to the front end. So we had our Flutter application or our React application on the web end side, and started then with packages to deliver really kind of autonomous service-oriented architecture-based services. And we said, oh yeah, that's the right way in the good direction. But again, reality in a product startup is different. So because we have been that successful, a lot of new responsibilities came because new clients came in, insurers said, you know, we need much more from you. And again, a really big pressure came to our company and we had to deliver again in a short amount of time a lot of new features. We even created completely new business capabilities. Just an example, in the beginning, we just said, okay, our freelancer network will handle claims. And then the insurers said, you know what, we don't want to do the work of allocating the right experts to the claims. You can do this too. So I don't want to go into the details, but a lot of new complexity came to us. And our team growth, we know a lot of new people came in, product designers, product managers. And what I saw as CTO was somehow we slowed down. Somehow our developers, they're not so happy anymore. And on the other end, there are so many demands from the CEO who, I mean, maybe you know the sales-driven chaos you have in a startup. And I was really disappointed, and I think the team too. I don't know how many of you run through something like this where you start with a super high and everything is fast and cool and then you slow down. Okay? And then it was like, okay, let's go really back and let's see what can we do. And what was for me pretty interesting was a lot of different concepts, which I usually learned while I started to dig deeper into DDD, what we already did years ago, but we never really had the possibility to implement it. And there are different aspects. For me, one important thing, which really relates pretty well with DDD, is Conway's Law, where we say, okay, we really have to find our boundaries, which was also much easier after we started this whole journey, because in the moment when we said, now we really want to make it in the right way, we had a lot of domain expertise on our shoulders, and then it just came like, oh yeah, here are our boundaries, look at this, and it was even easier because, as I said, we started to do even new business areas, and it was like, of course, if this was outside of our company, now it's inside, there must be a boundary because it worked before too. So step by step, by really going through all this pain, just by magic, we understood what our boundaries are. And then we started really to create product teams, which are separated in different business capabilities and boundaries, and made sure that everyone can really work autonomously together. A second law, which we also then adapted, was Little's Law, which is mostly about you have to focus. You cannot do a lot of things in parallel, you have to focus, which has a really great impact also when you want to create a product startup, because when you are in the project world, you deliver something, you go to the next project, and also this is something what happens in a startup, because there are so many things, you start to deliver here, you start to deliver here, you start to deliver there, but the business value is the key to make a startup really successful. So the good thing is, when you have autonomous teams around these bounded contexts, they can really focus on a specific business capability. And the cool thing here is that if they are able to focus on that, not just for 1 or 2 weeks, but for months, they can continuously identify the real business value and even come to a point where the idea which was good 2 months ago, they can start to disrupt their own ideas because they learn continuously from the market, because also these teams, they are directly connected to the business, to the stakeholders, as mentioned in Conway's Law. So you have teams which are really focusing on one specific bounded context. They have direct contact to the customers all the time. They have everyone in the team. They need to deliver the value, and they are also focused. And another ingredient here for productivity, I don't know how many of you, especially developers, people have the feeling that developers, they have to work 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, overtime is good, we are productive. But that's wrong, because developers need a lot of idle time. I call it the magic loop. When you say you have to focus on one specific problem, all of you work on that, then automatically they also have some time to do other things. And what do developers when they have free time? They don't watch Netflix, they learn. And you can imagine what happens over time when you have a team which learns continuously, then you have become faster, you are more focused. And this is kind of the system we started to implement. We are not done with this process, but it sounds for us promising. And another aspect, because I said it's about productivity, is also here that when we think about a core, I remember in the DDD box it was all the time about what is core. Core is where you make the money. And Nick also said in the morning, maybe it's not always about the money. And that's also what we see for us. Yeah, we have some core services right now where we said, whoa, here's the money. But then when we say, okay, from everything we do, we really have to think about what makes us different in the market and what not. Because a lot of things you can deliver in the core domain, which is just standard. Even your competition can do it. But then, again, you have to focus on what is the real value, where you can really disrupt the market and also make kind of this wall around your startup so that no one else can go into the market. And this is, again, much more focus. And the other things, yeah, you can do on a pretty easy way. You don't have to focus so much on it, but you can put all your product effort on these specific targets. And then what we also see is it's not just about the money, it's really also about to see, okay, what are the drivers which make a difference in the market and how we can separate us from the market. And I think, without going to my notes, I had some notes, but I think I had everything in my head what I wanted to say. I just hope that when you are in the same situation, yeah, really go down. There are a lot of awesome articles around there about Conway's law, about Little's law, theory of constraints. And when you just think about them and then look at your startup, I think there are a lot of possibilities to improve. DDD is a perfect driver to find the right team boundaries. Of course, you need an awesome team. I was really lucky to have a great team. Hopefully you too. And with all these small ingredients, I also hope that maybe a few of these things will help you. And one important thing for every one of you who's a leader, don't let your developers do overwork and focus on the real business value and on impact and not on output. Thank you.